There's so much interesting things to see in the wonderful state of Alabama. And this church is one of them I've heard about for years and years, but I've never been here. It's my first visit here. Church built into a rock. The Sally A. Howard Memorial Chapel was built in 1937 by Colonel Milford W. Howard in memory of his first wife, Sally A. Langford Howard, and by the help of the mountain people. Back of the chapel is a large boulder, and the stones from Little River were used to construct the altar. The church, they say, is active to this day. Sunday service, 10 a.m. and it's padlocked. I mean, not padlocked, it's dead bolted. So let's walk around here. And yes, bell works. And you can certainly have picnics out here, can't you? But this is the interesting part of this church. Let's go for a little walk here. Here's the well right here, and they got the eternal life Jesus sign on a well that is not functioning, and the water spigot is not functioning either, right? Yes, it is. Oh, it is? Okay. Let's take a little walk. Fred Higgins walkway. Okay, Fred, thank you for the walkway. A little hidden place here. I guess you could have a little private wedding ceremony at your convenience here. Looks like. Nowhere does it say no trespassing. For the preaching of the cross is to them that perish foolishness, but unto us which are saved is the power of God. 1 Corinthians. Nestled in these beautiful woods, and oh, look at this. Isn't that gorgeous? That was the most interesting part of this little walk, but walking never hurt me. Slowly come up behind the big rock. I don't know how much land is part of this, but they got a few little acres. And there, folks, is the attraction that draws. There's nobody up here. There was a couple of people up here when I first got here, but there's nobody here now. I'm not going to walk the rest of that, I don't think. Well, I guess I could. Why not?
Here's hither, yonder, and neither.
There you go. Hither, and yon. Let's go hither. We're going to go hither. And there we go. Nice little walking trail. In the rolling hills of northeast Alabama, part of the Appalachian mountain chain. Beautiful day, beautiful scenery, beautiful flowers. If the world could be at peace, just as this tranquil atmosphere offers right here. And that was the Fred Higgins walkway. Okay, still here, going just a day trip. And the things you run across here, we'll take a little walk somewhere in Cherokee, Alabama. And my God, look at this. Isn't this neat? kind of like Dismal's Canyon. This is a campground. You can actually, you see, somebody's even got a fire pit there, if you can see that, but wow. I just think this is about as neat as it can get. Yeah. What do you think? Could you go camping here? I think I'm going to walk out here and show you what look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look. You see that? Isn't that something? Wow, man. One more little spot here before I go back to the car. Wow. All right, here's I don't think I'm gonna go too far, but look at all these rocks. Look at this. All right, I'm having fun here somewhere in Cherokee County, Alabama, and I just discovered this at the end of a long road. This is really, look at that. Okay, so this is beautiful. On one side of me is way down there. Can you see that? And on the other side of me is these huge rocks. But we'll take this little trail right through here, even though I don't have on the right shoes. Look at this. Wow. Isn't this awesome? I was like, wow. I do not have on hiking shoes. But anyway, there you go. Little neat place I discovered here. Fantastic. I don't want to break. I'm going to walk to the edge here. And look at this. First of all, this is as far as I think I'm going to go. And it drops dramatically down through there. All right, here you go, folks. Tigers for tomorrow. Wild Animal Preserve and Educational Center. They're not open right now. I did not actually plan this journey, but a lot of people may not know that this is here. Wild, untamed tigers, and I guess they've got bears, and it is a preserve, and can't get in, but they're open Friday and Saturday through Sunday, I think. Interesting things in Alabama. So you want to come to Tigers for tomorrow? Out here in a beautiful, beautiful part of Alabama, northeast hills and mountains. I'm on this little country road. Who knows? I'll come back up here when they're open someday. There you go, folks. Right here in our state. So I get the name of this cemetery, but this is just outside of Attala, Alabama. I love these old gravestones. So we're going to meander through here a minute. And I'm going to do a panorama type thing in a second. newer sections behind me. I like the older section very much. They cut some grass, but they sure hadn't trimmed it. You can tell why they cut grass, but they're not trimmed. So, this is the wood. And there's an MD, J.H. Wood, medical doctor. So all these, there's Ida, his wife. Dang. Oh, 51? She outlived him by a long time. He died in 18 and she died in 51. And she was 10 years younger. And here's a big monument, wood. And there, beautiful countryside here. And then Leicester. All right, well, let's continue on. Interesting name, Stowers. 1915. And the Stowers have been here for some length of time, huh? 1872, 1991. Molly Cox Stowers, wife of Ben Stowers. That was Ben. He died in 1915. She died in 1967. Boy, these women used to really outlive these men. I don't think as much so as they used to. Well, I think once the women took on all the stress that men historically took on, yeah, I think that kind of equalized them. Barnett and more. Now we are right around Etowah County, which is the Ten Commandments judge, Roy Moore. Makes you wonder if that's in some way some of his people, because it was his walker up there at bench. Interesting stones. Actually, I need to walk, so let's take a walk here. Frost. Look at that. Frost. Frost, 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 frost. That's all that's on them. Frost, 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 frost. Frost. Well, on the top of them, okay. I see that now. Staten, Lambert, Cahoon, not Calhoun, but Cahoon. Beautiful, beautiful day. Step over here for a minute. To this huge, larger stone. There we go. Co-Templin frame. Roberts Templin. Lovell. Usually when you see these little lambs on a tombstone, it's children's graves. That one is too weathered for me to be able to tell. McClendon, Nobles, Benfield. We got Sydney and Howard. Sydney was born January 29, 1915, and died on my birthday, December 1st, 1916. I was born in 19, was that a 6? That looks like a 5. And then Howard was born in 1913 and died November 20th, 1916. They died just like a week or so apart. Children of Mr. and Mrs. B.P. Ferguson. That had to probably be, quite possibly, since they died so close together. Wow. Yep, they lost 2 of their kids. I don't know if those are only kids, but Ferguson children. And there's that would not be mom and dad, but there's some Fergusons there. Here's Ferguson's. This quite possibly could be VP Ferguson right here. That was mom and dad right here. And they lived quite a few years after their children died. He died in 1945. She died in 1963. And then we've got George and Ann. George died in 1985, and there's no marker of death for Ann. Should be 80, should be 100 years old. Now, yes, that's possible. 80, 100, 80, 102. Death is only a shadow across the path to heaven. 85. Go back to when earlier part, 20th century and 19th century, resting in hope of a glorious resurrection. Notice the wording, the way they identified death. So different. That's an interesting stone there. Hand is missing. Melba Jean Vicky. I went to school with Melba. You don't hear that name much. I think her last name was Ferguson. Melba Ferguson. Come to think of it. But this is Melba Jean Vicky. So let's continue our walk here. Interesting. Very peaceful. Somewhere Highway 11 north of Gadsden. Just taking a journey and came across this old cemetery and wanted to stop. It looks like a newer part, so I like to focus on these old graves. I find them just totally, they're just interesting compared to the new stuff. Let's walk down here. There's something else that got my attention. And look at these. The tail end of the Appalachian mountain chain right here in northeast Alabama. I'll double back around. No marking as to the name of this cemetery. 1903. Sizemore. Died in 1875. Never saw the 20th or 21st centuries. It's hard to believe. I'm old enough to have known people that were born in the 19th century. In my lifetime, I met people who were born in the 19th century. Those little rock stone-like things, but I'll walk over here. Someone did an interesting tombstone. Have a heart-breaking tombstone, if you will. I believe it's this one right over here. These are newer, in the midst of several older ones. Wow, that's interesting there. This is 1945. Miles Warren Morris Jr. But this guy here, beloved dad, David Steve Morris, I believe on the other side of this is what is going to get your attention here. Yep, that's it. If I were granted only one wish, I'd wish for one more day with you. Kind of powerful, huh? $1882. 20. Gosh, didn't live long at all. Never saw the 20th car in the first centuries. Wood, boy, they're right in that tree. Some of these are. It's not that large, and I need to walk. Parton, 1909, 1893, Parton. Luther. Don't know why Luther does not have a date on his tomb. Oh, look at that tree. Look at that. Sacred in the memory of J.D. Johnston, born, gosh, it says 1822, died in 1856. Wow. Sacred to the memory of Eliza, wife of J.P. Cook, 1827. Died in 1855. Can't read all that. Wow. I'm looking here. I'm looking here. There's only ones around here?
No, there's.
That is a grave. That structure right there. A lot of these little stones, markers that yeah.
Two markers leaning against the tree.
This is Mark and Celine. And then a couple little, those are not old, whatever. But here we go. Some of this was done like this to protect against grave robbers. Oh, there's a name. We can get a name off this cemetery. I walk over here. Let's see who this little family plot is here. And there's one. I'm not going to be able to read that. There's one here off to themselves. Yancey, I've heard. Billy and Lolly, having finished life's duty, they now sweetly rest. See, that was a difference. This is going back to the early part, first half of the 20th century. Death was referred to as sleep, rest. And then, especially by the middle of the 20th century, they started rewriting the book on that. And now they ship them off to heaven immediately. Here's a little entrance thing that's kind of covered up with leaves, but I'm going to walk up here, and it's Bristow. This is Bristow Cemetery. I'm not going to go to the new section. I'm going to cut back across here. And then this gated communities here, grouping here, not a lot, just a stone with no inscription on it. Okay, there is a stone here with an inscription, gray. But the name on here says Marianne Majors Reagan. 2020, and you can tell that's a newer grave. This is 1990. That's interesting because all these names are Reagan, but on the stone there it says Gray. Interesting. I don't see the name. Well, here they are. Here's the Grays. All these are Grays. Okay, that answers that. All right, let's just continue a little walk here on this beautiful day. Somebody left a drinking bottle out here. Other than that, it's pretty neat. Guest held. That's interesting. Interesting name. See some names in this cemetery I just haven't seen or heard of commonly. Beautiful day. People up there were doing something at a gravesite. I don't like to disturb people in those moments. They can be very rude. So, back to the Frost family. Okay. Hawkins. I went to school with the Hawkins. Died in 1887. Oh, this is the Hawkins family. To think that some of these people, the remains of which are in this ground that we're walking on, they walked this ground just like we did. Or John Hicks, 2 years old. Carrie Hicks. Hicks must be somehow connected to the Hawkins. Willie G. Tate Edison Hawkins. And it goes all the way over here. 1884, Reuben. So there's another one, the Bristow Cemetery. Here's the Reverend A.N. Mintz. He was a Freemason. Love. Take God called thee home, blah, blah, blah. And here's Edwards. This is where we started. So there we are, folks. There's more Hawkins. The Hawkins like to cover their entire grave sites with cement. Look at this. These Hawkins did the same thing. And that was 1964. And I just wanted to look at this real quick. There you go. All right, the Bristow Cemetery. Well, it just never ends, the wonderful, quirky stuff you see on the side of the road. And I don't know, I'm not going to walk back there. It doesn't say no trespassing, but let's zoom in on this creature. Whatever. Dinosaur? Is that what he is? I know he's at the barn. Fascinating creature. So, right here, Fort Payne, Alabama. Amazing creatures.